All right, so we talked about cellular respiration, and we talked about how it really depends on photosynthesis because photosynthesis is what creates the glucose or the producer that we as consumers need. Now we're going to talk a little bit more detail into photosynthesis. And again, I'm going to keep this short to try to focus on the aspects that I want you to learn. All right, so the basics of photosynthesis. And again, I'm only going to probably lecture on the first 10 slides. And if you get those first 10 slides down really well about the basics of photosynthesis, that's what I want you to focus on. So photosynthesis is used by plants, algae, and certain bacteria to transform light energy into chemical energy. It uses CO2 and water as starting materials and then gives oxygen gas off as a byproduct in the bonds of those sugar molecules. Organisms that generate their own organic matter from inorganic ingredients are called autotrophs. So plants and other organisms that do this by photosynthesis are called photoautotrophs, and these are the main producers for most of the ecosystems. The fact that nearly all organisms can trace their source of energy back to the sun clearly illustrates that the ability to transform energy and matter is vital to existence of life on Earth. So here we have different examples of photosynthetic autotrophs. We have plants, mostly on land, photosynthetic protists like kelp in water, and photosynthetic bacteria like the micrograph of cyanobacteria. Chloroplasts are the light-absorbing organelles, and the chloroplasts are where photosynthesis occurs, and you should know that. They're mostly found in the interior cells of leaves. Their green color is from chlorophyll, which is a pigment that absorbs light in the chloroplasts that plays a central role in converting solar energy to chemical energy. The stomata are tiny pores in the leaves where carbon dioxide enters and oxygen exits, and membranes within the chloroplast form the framework where many of the reactions of photosynthesis occur. So we have the journey into a leaf. We have photosynthetic cells, the chloroplasts. We have the pores that allows that light to come in, oxygen being released as a waste product, CO2 taking it in as a reactant. And there's a look at a chloroplast cell. Like a mitochondria, a chloroplast has a double membrane envelope. The inner membrane encloses a compartment filled with stroma, a thick fluid. Suspended in the stroma are interconnected membranous sacs called thylakoids, and these are concentrated in stacks called grana. And the chlorophyll molecules that capture light energy are built into its membranes. So this is the overall equation for photosynthesis, and this is what I want you to have a good handle on. The reactants of photosynthesis are carbon dioxide and water. These are the same as the waste products of cellular respiration. And photosynthesis produces what respiration uses. So it produces glucose and oxygen, which is what cellular respiration our cells need to create ATP. So here we have carbon dioxide and water with light energy will produce organic material, glucose and oxygen gas. The overall process of photosynthesis can be divided into two stages connected by energy-carrying and electron-carrying molecules. The light reactions in which chlorophyll and the thylakoid membranes absorb solar energy, which is then converted to the chemical energy of ATP and NADPH, and the Calvin cycle, which uses the products of light reactions to power the production of sugar from carbon dioxide. So here we see the chloroplast taking in light, H2O and CO2 to go through light reactions in the Calvin cycle to produce oxygen and sugar, glucose molecules. So here's the overview of photosynthesis, the initial incorporation of carbon from the atmosphere into inorganic compounds is called carbon fixation. This can help reduce the concentration of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. So this is why plants and trees are super helpful for cleaning up the atmosphere. And the relationship between photosynthesis, carbon fixation, and global climate is a good example of how interactions between biological components at many different levels can affect all life on Earth. So please watch this information on photosynthesis. And I think I'm going to pause that there for those main kind of key topics that I want you to take away from chapter 7. Thank you for listening, guys.